First off, Governor Brown has said that minors can't go to tanning beds, but it's okay for 12-year-olds to take the deadly Gardasil shot without their parents knowing. And that's the headline: new law lets 12-year-olds consent to preventative care for STDs. What the schools are doing is just telling them it's the law, they have to take it and not tell their parents. We showed you the video last week where they go to the door of parents and bang on it, who were homeschooling parents, and say, it's the law, we're coming in to give them shots. The parents are so informed, they know it's all a con game, they just say, bleep off and slam the door. But there is that report. Continuing with different hoaxes and frauds, we shift gears from Gardasil into Ron Paul. Ron Paul wins values voter poll ahead of Herman Cain. And they always say this is a very important poll done by Christian conservatives mainly, and they take themselves very serious in this big important poll. But for the first time in the values voter poll, the organizer of it has labeled his own poll irrelevant after Ron Paul wins. So why even, I guess I'm expecting next presidential cycle, this group will not even operate then if suddenly they're irrelevant because Ron Paul has won that coveted poll. You notice Ron Paul's been number 1, number 2, or number 3 in all the polls for 6 months. But they always say, oh, too bad he can't win. Herman Cain comes in second in Florida, and they say, well, he's the winner. And now he's the front runner, former head of the Federal Reserve in Kansas City. A direct answer to Ron Paul. We'll just expose him like we've done Rick Perry and Mitt Romney. And finally, Fast and Furious. You know, we've probably done 10, 15 reports just since InfoWars Nightly News kicked off a little over a month ago on September 1st. And it is a modern-day Iran-Contra, where drugs are shipped into the U.S. and the rebels going after folks, going after other cartels, are given U.S. money and weapons. And that's exactly what's happening here. And now it's come out in federal court. The ATF directly shipped the guns into Mexico, and then only did the straw purchase stuff at gun stores to demonize the Second Amendment. So it's a win-win-win for the globalists. Knock out the drug cartels that aren't laundering their money through the private Federal Reserve banks, destabilize Mexico so they can talk about an SPP global financial merger, as the SPP documents for the North American Union showed from the Banff, Canada meeting in 2007 that we cover in my film Endgame, and also the best bite, little added cherry on top, is they could also then demonize the Second Amendment. And even after the Justice Department got caught doing this to blame the Second Amendment and perjuring themselves, they're just going forward. So that's what you'd expect from the 8 agencies involved: FBI, Coast Guard, DEA, Border Patrol, ATF, and other agencies, all involved in bringing in $500 billion a year in drugs, and all fighting hard to make sure smaller cartels don't cut in on the big banks' profits. Just like alcohol prohibition. The criminals lobby to make the stuff illegal so they make the higher profits. Am I saying everybody in the Border Patrol is bad? Certainly not. Everybody in the Coast Guard bad? Certainly not. Everybody in the FBI bad? Certainly not. Everybody in the ATF? No, not all bad. That's why they blew the whistle. The point is, this is another way to pick up the rocks and look at what's under it or under the floorboards. We've already seen about 5,000 cockroaches in our house. If America was a house. The lights are on. High noon, we're eating Sunday brunch, Sunday lunch, and there's roaches running around under the table, on the table. Can you imagine when you turn the lights off what's going on? And by that I mean, what is there we don't know about? None of us are safe under a system that's corrupt. Even the people that are part of the corrupt system. This is out of control. This is out of control. Okay, that's basically it for now on the news. We got a jam-packed transmission. We've got stuff, few things actually shake me up. The Kurt Haskell info coming up. I think we're going to send some of our reporters up in November, off and on. We don't really have the funds, but if you continue to become PrisonPlanet.tv members and buy books, videos, whatever from Infowars.com, support our sponsors, we may be able to. It's just that I've got 3 or 4 great reporters in here that we can send places. It's just that it will exhaust our capital, but we're going to go ahead and probably just send reporters up to Detroit to cover this, because this is as big as Fast and Furious, but hasn't gotten any attention. Okay, the first thing I want to go to here is a compilation again of our video and others' video from the Dallas Occupy the Fed. Then we're going to come back with the Matthew Medina. Then we're going to go to break and come back with the Kurt Haskell. Stay with us. This is Dallas, Friday. That's like 6 o'clock, even more came.
These are the people that want to create VAT taxes and sales taxes to pay off their black hole of debts. Break the conditioning. Occupy the Dallas Federal Reserve.
This is Rob Dew reporting for InfoWars Nightly News, and I'm standing here with Sarah from Occupy Dallas. So, Sarah, what brings you guys to the Federal Reserve of all places?
We're going to be going around different points around the city over the next month or so. The Federal Reserve is a big target. I mean, that's what's bringing down the economy. It's bringing everybody down. And Alex Jones was going to be out here today, honestly, and we wanted to try to get as many people to hear about Occupy Dallas as what was going on.
Federal Reserve is actually not federal. In fact, it says private property right over there.
It does not say government property. It says Federal Reserve Bank of Dallas, private property, no trespassing.
The Federal Reserve is a private bank. It's just,
really?
you know, yeah, really. It's not, it has private shareholders. It's a big banker club. And guess what, Rob? We're not in it. And they use their goon squad, the IRS, to steal money forcibly out of your paycheck that you and I earn when we go to work. They then loan that money back to the U.S. government at interest. And it's just totally criminal, unconstitutional.
The Republicans weren't able to co-opt the Tea Party. The Tea Party co-opted the Republicans. And the Democrats aren't going to be able to co-opt Occupy Wall Street. The American people are going up against the establishment, and it's a grassroots movement. And the mainstream corporate whore media, the dinosaur media, is losing all of its credibility as the people awaken. And the Fed! And the Fed! And the Fed! And Obama went on to say, I wouldn't have done this. I would have gone after the bankers if this was illegal, but it's not. But it's the bankers that took over the government and changed the laws in a bipartisan criminal action to allow the Federal Reserve to create the $1,000+ trillion in derivatives and try to saddle us with it. We're not your slaves. The Federal Reserve is the 1%. The Federal Reserve is...
We are not your slaves. It just boils down to that in the final equation. This next piece of video is Matt Medina, who just a few weeks ago was calling me and saying, oh no, the Occupy San Antonio folks, they're against the Federal Reserve, they're good people. Yeah, exactly, because it was globalist groups, Adbusters people, others, Democratic operatives, who put out the idea of Occupy Wall Street through social media, knowing grassroots would show up because, yeah, Wall Street overall has been out of control. Then they come in and co-opt it. Michael Moore calling for communism, all this stuff. But then when I ran into Medina down there, he says he's got video of this too. They've been down there interviewing him. They're not even wanted now by Occupy San Antonio. And they're like, Ron Paul bad, Alex Jones bad, you know, basically the 99%, we're going to get the 1%. Well, number one, that's not right. It's more like 4% has about 40, 50% of the wealth in this country, or controls it, and also pays around 40, 50% of the taxes. But Americans are 5% of the global population. A 7 billion, 300 million is about 5%. We have had half the wealth, but now we're losing it. It's freedom that brings wealth. There's plenty of wealth in African and Latin American and poor Asian countries, but they've got strong men in there who won't let anybody ever have any freedom, so there's no wealth produced. This is very elementary. The few countries in history, going back thousands of years, that allowed freedom had huge renaissance. Doesn't mean America's perfect. America's got a terrible record, but it's better than everybody else. See, that's the difference. We're kind of the top of the you-know-what pile here. So all these people that say the American system is bad, oh, it's old-fashioned, liberty and freedom and those ideas are the newest thing. The stuff we're going back to is what's 5,000 years old. Old-fashioned, gangster-run tyranny. All right, I'm digressing.